That song is just so good. GM, everyone. Welcome back to another Market Mates episode here, live on a Tuesday and obviously Monday night for Americans over the other side of the world. Yeah, guys, it was Australia Day yesterday, so Craig and I decided to spend some time with family. My parents came up and visited me up at the coast, and I know Craig was hanging out with some friends and family as well. So nice to just have that extra day off. It was sweltering hot over the weekend. I don't know if it was hotter down with you, Craig, but it was like pushing mid 30s to 40 degrees here. And it's lovely and kind of cool today, which is great. A bit of a rain overnight, so that's nice. And anyways, how was your weekend, mate? Long weekend? Probably the last one for a while, I think now.
Yeah, Jim, Greeny. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, mates. Thanks for being here. Yeah, dude, it was good. Australia Day, I quite enjoy, even though I'm not Australian. I quite get into how Australians get into Australia Day. I think it's really cool what you guys do. You know, there's flags down the street. Australian flags are up, and I was like, that's super cool. So, no, I had a good day. I had my son's cousins spend the day with us, with family. So, yeah, we're running around the pool, and it was stinking hot and having a few beers and celebrating the day. So, great day. But good to be back, and good to be back on the show and ready to rock and roll.
Very nice, mate. Very nice. Good to be back, chat. And thanks for tuning in, guys, as always. And before we obviously get started with the show today, massive partner shout out to OKX. Been partnering now with them, nearly coming up on 6 months, guys. So definitely check it out. It's the safest exchange in crypto. I've been using it. Craig's been using it. And I can't wait to buy a bit of Bitcoin lower. Hopefully it does come a little bit lower soon, which we will talk about shortly. So you can sign up down below. If you do a little bit of volume, guys, you do get a bonus, $75 on the platform for free. The best sign-up bonus, I think, out there. Craig, mate, we were just talking before the show about Bitcoin. And we're just talking about sort of crypto and in general and where we think we currently are in the bull cycle, in the bear cycle, let's call it. What are your thoughts in the market right now? Because I was not like whinging, but I was just saying there's still a lot of people out there who are very hopelessly bullish. I'm going to use that word, hopelessly. I think it's poor that they're analyzing the charts that way, that they're bull posting these sort of targets. Like, sure, there might be quantitative easing, but you got to remember, like, crypto outperformed everything from about 2023 through to 2025. And sure, now stocks are catching up. Now metals are catching up, right? Like, it's a different world. It's a different world in 25 into potentially 26. Whereas throughout 23, if you were here when we started our show, Craig, back in 2023, you would have made a lot of opportunities go, like a lot of money, right? Solana was still sub $50 in 23. I mean, it was $30 when I was buying in 23. Bitcoin was 30 grand. It's still like 3x from there today. So like, you got to remember, guys, like, sure, silver's up 2, 3, 4x now, 5x. I mean, it was $20 not long ago. So it's up, 5x or more now. But crypto has gone up a lot in the past 3 years. And I think a lot of people need to remember that, Craig. They forget. And I think the world we live in these days, Craig, is actually very brutally destroying our perception of time, our attention. You scroll on a TikTok, you scroll on Instagram reel, you scroll on a clip. If the clip doesn't engage you literally within the first second or the first 3 seconds, you're on to the next one. That's how worrisome it is, and how worrisome the attention is, and how worrisome it is for people to invest, because they're like, "What? My bags aren't pumping." Well, yeah, bro, because they pumped the last 3 years. They're not going to pump always. That's how it works. So, anyways, let's talk about that. The change in markets from crypto to metals to maybe stocks and ETFs. Great. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I guess for a lot of us, well, like you said, in 23, well, Bitcoin did a 7-8x, right? So we sort of had Bitcoin front run the bull market of most of the assets. So it was going to be an all assets bull market, right? That's what not everyone. It's what a lot of people are calling, it's cyclically, metals are going to run, risk on assets are going to run, Bitcoin's going to run. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on when you arrived in the market, like you just said, if you were in 23, that outperformed all the metals, right? Bitcoin destroyed everything from 23 to 24, 25. And now it's metals' turn to run. It is a tough one to swallow in a way. I mean, if you arrived to the cycle later, say you arrived when it was 75 to 100, probably a lot of people arrived when Bitcoin hit 100, I reckon, because there's quite a lot of hype.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, those people buying from 100 to 130 are probably feeling like they never had a bull run. And if you arrived then, perhaps you almost didn't, unfortunately. But yeah, there was a great bull run. The Bitcoin bull run, like we said, was probably from about Jan-Feb 23, when it started breaking out there. So yeah, it's been an interesting time to watch, even for me. I mean, watching metals go, going back, say, a year, I would have thought Bitcoin would have been moving with it. The way the chart started to form over the last 6 months, you and I obviously started to change our tune, and we were starting to say, Bitcoin doesn't look like it's going to push a new all-time high. And obviously there's a lot of people on the timeline, right or wrong, were saying, no, we're going much higher, and we've broken down how far are we from all-time high now? 30%?
We're about, currently we're 29% from all-time highs.
Yeah. So, it's not a massive pullback, but certainly in the grand, the problem is people are saying things, not the problem, but what they're saying, things like a 30% pullback in a bull run's typical, things like that. But the thing is, yeah, okay, to a certain degree, and that's correct, depending on where you are. There are 30% corrections that we saw. We did see that when we hit, I think we had 100 and we went back down to 70. We had 70 and then went back down to 45. But at some point, the run has to end, right?
Exactly.
So that's the thing. It's not like 30% pullback, guys, okay, this is the entry. It just depends where you are. And you and I have been speaking, saying we're in the fourth quarter. It might not have the time now to do it. I hope it does. But obviously, we're working on probabilities here, and you and I have been speaking for quite a while how that probability has been switching. And now, as we've broken down again, you and I were just speaking offline, as it's broken down again, back down to, what did it break down to?
86-ish, yeah.
86-ish. And 89, 90 starts to become a bit problematic. It just makes, for me, and I know you're thinking the same way, it makes probability-wise probably more and more unlikely that this happens. So, probably a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, possibly for people that entered late. Probably a really good lesson for those who did enter late, if they are going to continue trading crypto, to learn from this. And probably another good thing is just to hang in there now, because I don't know if we're that far away now from actually seeing prices lower. Probably sooner rather than later, we're going to have a breakdown, and it's going to go, who knows how low we go. We could throw darts as a dartboard. You and I have said anywhere between 40 and 70, probably 50 and 70. Could go 40, who knows? Even better if it does, really, for me. I don't mind that. But it certainly is a longer term strategy. And I think also what you're speaking about is attention span. It's probably time to extend your attention span now to actually get a win out of this. So if you could extend it another 6 months, you probably got a much better chance of winning than if you entered a year ago, if that makes some sort of sense, because we're obviously nearer to a top. So yeah, I think attention spans are probably going to hurt people. And it's going to be this time in the market that bores people, frustrates people. People are going to leave, and they're going to come back in, halfway through 27, 28 again at the...
They'll come back late. Again, it's the same thing we speak about often, Craig, and people who watch this show frequently will understand this phrase is, so many people come during euphoria and leave during fear. If you literally do the opposite, if you come and spend a bit of time during fear and then you leave during euphoria, you will walk away profitable. You will walk away probably buying in the bear and selling in the bull, and better than 95% of people out there. So the worrisome for me is it's time, right? We have seen a bull market. Look at price action there from 2023 all the way to where we are today. It's still up multiple X's, like 5, 6X, right? From the bottom. So you got to think about that. And the stochastic momentum indicator, the one at the top, this is basically a lagging indicator, but it is showing me that we are coming down for the first time, literally since way back here in the end of 2023. So we've just spent 2 years above the 80th percentile as a percentage of, yes, it's an expanding distribution, impulsive move to the upside. We have to either consolidate where we are or go lower for this chart to reset, for us to reset our sentiment. And that's the other thing, there's still enough bulls out there, enough hopeless bulls out there, that I do think we can go absolutely way lower, because all these people are just unprepared for what price is showing me and has showed me and you, Craig, for multiple months now. So look, I'm very bearish. I've been very bearish literally since the highs in October-ish, September-ish. Solana on this channel, on my Twitter page, I said at 260 when it got back up there. I said, guys, I'm out. I'm out. It's a lower high. It's under testing previous support as resistance now. So for me, I'm very bearish at this point in time. So yeah, look, I think Bitcoin could definitely go back down to 50K region. I think Michael Saylor's average buy is going to be a magnet in the short term. And I do think we go below that. It's creeping up. I think it's now 76K based on what I saw overnight after he plowed another $250 million in. It's interesting. It's interesting. Everyone doesn't care about his buys anymore. It's very interesting what happens if he does have to sell at some point, because everyone will bloody care about his sells. And it's like anything, right? Bitcoin, let's think of Bitcoin as a meme coin, right? Once someone starts to get too much supply, that's a concern for me. It's actually a red flag for me, because you never know what happens within their business. I think he said out like yesterday, he's like, oh, as long as Bitcoin goes up by 1% every year, we should be able to cover distributions for MicroStrategy. I was like, wow, 26 might be a bad year, brother. So, so we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, it's hard. I want to accumulate Bitcoin, but I'm also cautious with someone like that. I definitely want to accumulate Ethereum. It's less inflationary compared to Solana. Solana is very inflationary, and I think Solana will really struggle to probably ever get back to $300, if not higher, if it continues to just be extremely inflationary. Doesn't mean you can't make money on the chain. Doesn't mean it's a fun, fast, quick, easy way to trade and cheap way to trade. It doesn't mean that that token is going to go up over time either, because the market cap is naturally going to be way higher already than where price is going to represent, because it's inflationary, right? Whereas Ethereum isn't as inflationary anymore. Maybe it goes a little bit inflationary if the market starts using Ethereum again. But yeah, I think BTC and ETH. And I think, look, here's a bold prediction. At the start of the bear market, I think we're at in the start of the bear market, Hyperliquid will do what Solana did this cycle.
Yeah.
I think I'll be able to buy Hyperliquid around $10 to $12. Could go lower, could go slightly higher. And I think it will be over $100. Probably could push higher than that, maybe $200 in the next bull cycle. There's a bold statement, guys. Someone clip that. Someone clip that. Put it out there.
I think that's a good shout. We had Jamesy on last week. And for the people who didn't watch, go and give that a watch in the replays. He was pretty bullish on Hyperliquid as well. And I tend to agree. I think that's got a good chance of being the runner for next bull run, one of the success stories. Like you just said, like Solana was. Solana was the big success story this last bull run. Definitely that and Bitcoin and Solana. And obviously meme coins within the Solana ecosystem. But Solana, definitely Alana.
Who's on your mind, Craig? Holy mate. Who's Alana?
I know, that's Auntie's name, actually. Yeah, hello, Auntie. What was I going to say? Yeah, Solana reaped the benefits of that meme coin explosion, and very likely, or a good chance that Hyperliquid captures that market attention or share next run, and probably shares it with Solana possibly this time. Because as we saw, Ethereum in 21 performed great with NFTs. Then we had obviously 23 to 25 lackluster for Ethereum. Perhaps Solana sort of suffers the same sort of lull after, sort of exploding. But then you look at meme coins and that, and you think maybe it won't be as bad. But then who knows? That's my house.
Is that you or me?
It's me. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just someone cooking something. No, I think that's a good shout, and I think that's probably on my buy list along probably Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hyperliquid. I quite would like, and probably Solana at lows as well. I'll probably buy.
Okay, easy.
That's my little list.
So I'm chatting to the house agent after 10 o'clock. So that's when I'm going to be talking. Cool. So yeah, for those people that don't know, I am maybe in the process of buying a house with my wife. Our first house, pretty crazy.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, look, a lot of stress. Haven't been sleeping well. It's a lot of money. It's at the extension of where we would be happy to pay, but it's definitely worth that. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a big decision. So yeah, we'll be chatting to the agent. We'll probably find out maybe tomorrow/tonight of whether we get it or not, because we're in a race. We're playing a game. So it's interesting to see. But yeah, anyways, I agree. I think Hyperliquid is definitely a fair one to keep an eye on. Like, as long as they keep producing what they're producing, which they are, revenue, users, access to everything. Stocks, currencies, metals, crypto, on-chain. They keep developing out HIP3 or whatever it's called as well. Like, I still don't trade on there personally. Everyone's like, oh, like, why would you trade on a centralized exchange? Well, check out the funding on Hyperliquid. Check out the fees on Hyperliquid. Check out the bridging process on Hyperliquid. Be careful. It is more expensive. again, I prefer liquidity-backed exchanges because particularly Bybit, that's where I trade my perps day to day. But yeah, again, I've done a lot of research. I've traded on a lot of exchanges. You need to be careful, or you just spread your money around. Like you spread your money around. That's just good due diligence. Shout out to Omega, who's in the chat as well. Started in fear, and I built my portfolio so much since joining G2G in November. Way back. It's been fun learning in this current structure. I agree. I mean, if you can win in current market conditions, Craig, then I think you have a very good opportunity to win in the next bull. Because if you can make money in a bear market, or if you can make money in a chop market, you're smashing goals, man. You're ahead of the crowd by a long shot. All right, let's move to crypto news. I'm just trying to think which article. Let's touch on the big topic. Here we go. He's pulling it up now. Where is it? Did I get out of it? Maybe I got out of it. But yeah, anyways, here we go. So gold and silver hit a new all-time high. Gold hit 5.1K. Silver hit $110. Now, I sold my gold at around 4.7. I think like I got in the tariff tip. I don't know. Maybe I think that was around 4,000-ish. So I made like 30% on mine. I've also bought a gold miner here in Australia that I think did 40%. Again, I probably would have been holding that if I didn't need the money for a house deposit. Like I wouldn't have taken profit on that because it was only a smaller bag. I think it was like 20 grand or something. So I was like, look, I'll throw a bit over into a few different ETFs and stocks as well. So it's a shame I still don't hold these assets because I did see it happening. I did see the movement there as always, but it was more like, okay, well, we need to de-risk in case the market does crash a little bit or it does correct. We need to lock in capital gains tax. We need to maybe have money for a house deposit and then obviously for insurance and for all this sort of other stuff they got to think about. So huge news, Craig. You don't own any metals anymore. You sold all yours as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I sold mine a good year ago. Similar thoughts as you. I didn't have much of it. And yeah, I did. So I actually sold it and bought Bitcoin about probably a year and a half ago. Yeah, that's quite ironic, isn't it? Yeah. But no, I didn't have a lot of it anyway. But no, great for gold and silver. All my friends who were playing money into that are loving it now. Unreal, dude. Those charts, just looking at them, I was looking at the silver chart yesterday and I was just like, wow. Damn, I wish I'd held. But to be honest, I had hardly anything. I only had 5 grand in it, so I might have a little bit more. I won't work out the numbers, but it's all right. It's all right. But I am happy. I'm happy for the people that have made money on it, and I'm hoping they plow it into my digital gold called Bitcoin, man. But I don't think I know is that the bullish catalyst at the moment? People
the amount of people out there go, oh yeah,
the rotation.
Yeah, your boomers going to rotate from hard gold and silver to digital Bitcoin because they understand how that works, right?
Yeah, not yet. I think we're too early in the cycle of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to have that happen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But good to see that the bull market still exists for everything, right? And it's still cyclically running. Yeah. So it looks like the machine's still working, and I think that's a good thing. It's not broken yet. It's probably going to break soon when all this dumps. But how long do you think this runs for, Greeny? How long are metals, and what do you reckon?
How long's a piece of string, Craig? No, I think, to be honest, it depends more on macro world conditions. So like if we have war, if we have unsettled, like if what's old mate's name? If Trump's gonna be a bit, again, iffy with tariffs, iffy with like partnerships and whatnot, then yeah, I think they can keep running. But they are getting to a stage where you do really need to be careful. Like, I mean, if you just like, this is parabolia. If you ever look at like the weekly is overextended, the 2 weekly is overextended, the 3 weekly is overextended, the month is overextended, but pushing up, still has room for higher after January. The 2 month is also overextended. The 3 month is also overextended. If we look at the 6 months as well, 6 month is getting up there as well. So look, if you look at this chart, Craig, like you do need to be weary that you do, like, sure, like during periods of time in gold and silver's history, you do see a really expansive move, right? And I mean, like this one here was crazy. Like this one did a 33x, Craig, over the course of like a 10-year, over a 10-year period. So if we look at where we are today, say this low from January 2016 up to here, like you're already up 4x in the past sort of 8, 9 or 10 years nearly. So at some stage, this will like probably have a blow off top. As you can see, a blow off top, and then we correct, right? But it's probably large. Like again, It depends more on. I'm not a great macro trader. I'm a trader day by day. But you need to understand, like, if like the US is going to be buying Japanese yen, which they've come out and they haven't done that for a while. If war is still uncertain in a range of different countries around the world, if there's tariffs, if there's just escalation of uncertainty, then people are naturally going to strive to these sort of assets for as long as possible. The other thing, Craig, which I do have an article on, let me find it. The other thing that I think from a fundamental standpoint that I often forget, rather than just price and understanding macro trends, is actually a shortage. If there is a shortage of metals, so whether it's platinum, uranium, silver, gold, that actually could put more pressure on price as well, because for people to get their hands on it, to manipulate it for jewelry, for furniture, for just wealth creation as holding it, right? Then naturally what you actually could see is either like a really extended parabolic run, because the demand for these assets to, like, again, like copper is huge, right? They need it to build a range of different things, particularly with this AI incentive that's really shifted in the past couple of years. Like, think about this. Like, you can be a technical trader, but you can also be a fundamental trader. If you think about, like, for example, Apple, revolutionary. Okay, so if you invested in Apple instead of buying the iPhone every year, you would have made quadrillion% compared to the money you spent on the iPhones, right? So if you were thinking back in like early 2000s, like, oh, hold on, these are the, like, if I use this and everybody wants this, that's probably going to put enough demand, enough revenue on this stock to accumulate over time. Same with NVIDIA. Okay, if anyone's using those chips in all the computers to drive blah 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 blah, same as Microsoft. If everyone has Word, if everyone's using Microsoft Office, blah 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 blah, then naturally that's probably not a bad hedge to be like, well, hold on, fundamentally. Same as Uber. Uber replaced the taxi world. Oh shit! Rather than just like you really need to think outside the box if you want to become a macro investor across all industries, right? Same as Uber. Domino's, I know in Australia, just dominates because they're the cheapest option. That is a pizza. Like, everyone loves pizzas, but if they're the cheapest and best option, okay, they're great with marketing, they're great with their deals, that stock's going to go up over time as well, right? So it's the same premise with metals here. Is if the world is uncertain, then people are going to go to things that are certain, and that's gold and that's silver, because like my dad, who's nearly 60, still likes to remind me, you can fucking hold it, Greenie. You can hold it in your hand. I'm like, Dad, that's not where the world's heading, brother. Like, I understand it, but Bitcoin and other things are very much happening in real time as well. And I think there's a balance. I think I'm not a crypto fanatic. I'm someone who's a realist, and I like to think you need to think about everything. You should have exposure to a lot of different things. Hence why I'm trying to get into property, right? Because that's again a diversification where you protect some of the wealth you made in a more risky asset class. Sure, property's still risky. You never know what can happen, right? But it's less risky based on the things, like the analysis I've done on the area, the growth in the country, blah, 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 blah. But the same premise here on what we could potentially see is we could see these run for the next, like these could run all the way. These could run all the way into 2027, in my opinion. What do you think, Craig?
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that I want to probably look at more into the future. Like, when all these one of the good things I think about a bear market coming for all these assets is that I get to look at them again. So metals, things like that, like you just said, stocks, that's something I want to look at. That's probably what I need to start to explore further as well, is just expanding my macro understanding of all these assets rather than just crypto, which I've sort of dialed in since 21. So I think even though I'm not in these things, it's good to be an observer, because I'm thinking for the next bull runs we have in the future, while it may not look exactly the same, it may look similar, and I may look to, diversify crypto into stocks, into metals. So it's just learning lessons for me. What it's done there is unreal. I'm glad I'm at this age now where I get to observe these with a clearer mind, say, versus being 20 and not caring about stuff like this, which last time these ran, I would have been too young to really to notice or understand.
Yeah.
I'm sidelined basically in all this stuff. But yeah, I agree with you. There is that certain age group that still wants to hold it. I think that'll become less and less of a concern as people that, like my kid's age, who's 9, he has absolutely no concern about holding something tangible, does not care, does not really know it, knows digital, you're spending Robux, right? It's digital money. Yeah. They know that so well. They don't care. So I'm not saying gold and that will go out of fashion, but I think over time, the generation that's growing up now will probably have a fonder regard of Bitcoin than they will for gold, and they will understand it better, and there'll be more risk on with that. Whether that helps the price for us in the short term, no, it won't. But I think it still makes Bitcoin's outlook ridiculously promising and shows that the growth it could have. And I just think buying in a bear market, Bitcoin's going to be unreal over time, but it's not going to be in the next 3 months.
And no, I agree. I give it 6 months. I think you will get a great opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin later this year. You just got to stay patient. And for me, I'm happy to start buying probably sub 80. I don't mind. I think I might add a little bit more, a little bit higher, because I don't know if we do go as bearish as I particularly think we could, down to like 48K. But yeah, no, big interest, A lot of people think they're going to rotate from silver and gold into crypto. Don't think that happens personally. I don't think that happens. You got to remember who owns these assets, right? They're huge hedge funds. They're huge. Like, I mean, Tether bought a shit ton late last year, right? They're not going to rotate into specific crypto assets. They're running a business, right? Like, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think maybe Bitcoin, once it maybe gets below MicroStrategy's average buy, I think that is a very appealing level for a lot of crypto people or crypto curious people to start accumulating. So that's around $76,000 if he doesn't keep buying here. And the wild thing is, it's like he bought $250 million worth of Bitcoin again, but he bought it literally at $90,000. Brother, what are you doing? Like, look at the chart, bro. Come on. It just dipped to 86 and he didn't buy there. Like, come on, brother. So 264 million he plowed into it, and his average buy was 90 something K when he bought this yet again. I don't understand. But anyways, imagine what the price would be doing, Craig, if someone like this wasn't buying. We would already probably be playing out to the downside. That's the interesting part.
Yeah, it's you wonder what MicroStrategy, you wonder what his strategy is on his price buying. Like, I just wonder, does he
accumulate as much as possible?
Yeah. Does he just have a date? Does he just have a repeat buy set on a calendar and just like doesn't mind the price, just goes, yeah, it's Monday, it's buy time.
Buy time.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like you were saying earlier, it probably is a bit of a risk for everyone else for Bitcoin to have someone like, it's good and bad. I can sort of argue both sides, but I guess it is a risk that he does go under and has to say, and like you just said, if he starts selling, geez, man, people, like you said earlier, people will care about that. Like you said, these buys, we've seen it too many times. People are over this now. They're like, okay, sell I bought again. But when he sells, wowee, man, if he sells, not saying he will, but like you said earlier, if he does, I don't know how the market will respond, dude. Probably quite negatively.
No, I think it'd be very bearish if he starts to sell, but I'm bullish if he starts to sell because there's less supply control.
Yeah, same here. And that's probably your buy signal when if he starts to capitulate. Yeah, that could be your little mini black swan. I don't know. I'm not saying MicroStrategy will go under, but there is now a risk there where there wasn't this risk years ago. So it's it's something to take into account. Whether it ever matters, I don't know, but it has happened in the past with things like this. So yeah, look, I'm not going to say I hope he goes under, but if he does, we're all going to probably be buying at a pretty good price. I hope he doesn't and doesn't wreck people, but it's just, I guess, like we were saying, it's just something to keep an eye on, and it is interesting. Yeah, he's a mad dog, isn't he? I don't know what else to say.
I think you need to be really careful, particularly like someone like Pio who only really has exposure to MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. Like, dude, like, sure, maybe that'll age well if you do have a long enough horizon, which I know it does. But like, man, like, I don't know. Like, I would much rather be an active sort of trader with my approach. BTC is going parabolic in January, John reckons. Sorry, January, John, I disagree. I disagree, mate. I do disagree.
Has Pio sold any Bitcoin on the way up?
I doubt it. I don't think he has.
No. Okay.
No, he shorts. He whatever options. He does options on MicroStrategy to the downside.
Okay, cool.
So markets won't bounce until Binance stops selling. They are at it again. CZ comes out and says, yeah, buy and hold is the best strategy ever. And 2026 super cycle. Meanwhile, he continues to dump the books behind the scenes. Pretty crazy when you look at it. Binance is down 480 million in terms of, I don't know if this is BTC 5-minute charts. Pretty crazy. 1.74. I don't know if this is both BTC on the downside as well. But both sides of this is showing you that Binance is absolutely rinsing and selling to the downside, very much unlike a lot of the other exchanges. So very curious to see how that ages as well. Parabolic in February. Yeah, John, I agree. It's not going parabolic in February. That's what I said. I'm bearish, bro. I'm bearish. Go watch our shows. I'll tell you. Like we talk about why. We talk about why. Don't they make 500 million on the software business side? I don't know. Maybe they have to. They have to be making money some shape or form. So it'd be very curious to see how they do make their money, or like if they continue to do that, because yeah, they need to cover their distributions and dividends and stuff. So yeah, anyways, interesting. Binance keeps selling, Craig, even though CZ's trying to pump everyone's bags by saying, yeah, 2026 super cycle, and yeah, just buy and hold, guys. Yeah, buy and hold my bags, bro, because I'm dumping on you.
I did see a theory talking about how when 1010 happened, we had that that event, whatever you want to call it. And there were a few people theorizing out there that maybe the market makers obviously couldn't have access to the buys and sells or the API, whatever you call it. And some people were theorizing perhaps a big exchange like Binance had to step in and actually start buying. And they've had to been offloading so heavily since that date because they had to buy up a shitload. I don't know how true that is, but that was just another thing I thought about just when you brought that up. Maybe they're just offloading those bags they had to buy during that time, because I think they've been selling, I think, for quite some time. So yeah, regardless of that little theory, like you just said, interesting that he's saying you get rich by holding, but then they're selling. It's like, why is your company selling then, brother?
I don't know. It is interesting. US government shutdown by Friday reaches a new all-time high. Really interesting here. I was just doing a little bit of research about why. I
was about to ask you that. Why?
Yeah, legislation to fund much of the US government appears to be in peril this week, with odds spiking that another partial government shutdown will strike at Friday at midnight. Could be felt, yeah, again, this could put a lot of pressure on markets, because it did last time, I'm pretty sure. When we had the last shutdown, was that? I can't remember when it was. Was it December? Can't remember.
Yeah. It was leading into Christmas, I think.
So, and Cappy just said silver and gold just wiped out $1.6 billion on this pullback. That's crazy. But yeah, I think it was late last year that we had a shutdown, and markets definitely suffered during that period of time. There was a lack of volatility, but I think it was more also down pressure in terms of price going down. So it's very curious to see there's ongoing negotiations to avert a shutdown. Federal agents were shot and killed an American citizen in dude, all these terms in America. Minneapolis, during ongoing protests. The man was disarmed by agents before being fired upon. That's hectic. Dude, that's another conversation. We're not going to bring that up about guns. But no, anyways, again, it's about a bill here, funding a bill to move forward. Said the statement, adding officers, immigration, customs enforcement. We also have FOMC this week, Craig, I'm pretty sure, in the coming days as well, from Jerome Powell. And he's getting close to the end of his position as well. So, dude, I don't know, man. Like, there's just like, everyone's like, oh, you need bearish catalysts. You need bearish news for price to go down. Well, dude, there's bearishness right here. And price often front runs what the news is going to be, okay? Like, prices are already, like, everyone's like, oh, FTX and whatever else, like, happened in the last cycle. But it's like, yeah, but we were already in bearish market price structure. If you just looked at the chart, if you looked at stochastic momentum, like, it was overextended. It was pulling back. It was below the pivots. It was aggressively coming down after being overextended for a long period of time. Price will tell you this, and news just fast tracks what price is already going to do, right? And it's the same on the bull side, okay? Like, oh, Trump's going to get in office. Let's front run that. Okay. It's super bullish. We're going to get ETFs for crypto. Let's front run that. Right. It's the same on bull side and bear side. News comes after the fact of what price already shows you is showing you in structure. Right. So very interesting here. What do you think? Is a government shutdown in the US quite bearish, particularly where crypto is? If we aren't pumping when the US dollar is coming down, gold and silver hitting new all-time highs, stocks are steady, dude, crypto's going to dump if we have a US government shutdown.
Yeah, I agree. From my memory of the shutdown last time, it wasn't great. It was quite volatile, and I think it headed to the downside. So Bitcoin just looks heavy at the moment. The price action looks heavy. It looks like it wants lower, So for me personally, just when the price looks like it wants lower, and then the news kind of backs up that momentum to whichever way it wants to push it, it's like, yeah, it's just like you've got this weight to the downside, and then the news comes in and just like pushes it lower to make it not eventuate, but kind of, like you said, just escalate it. I don't know if it's faster, but it seems to be. Yeah, government shutdown's not a great word. I don't think it's bullish. I think it's bearish. And maybe the price to that, that dip to 86, maybe it was front running the likelihood of that happening, like you just said. So maybe it's front run that news. Maybe we do get a shutdown, because that spike, what did it spike to? What was the percentage? It was quite high, wasn't it?
80%, yeah.
A lot. So someone, I don't know if someone knows something, but yeah. Look, no, it's not. I don't think a government shutting down is ever bullish, is it?
No, probably not. A commenter, I agree. It would, and Badini, who has commented on the channel for a long time, thanks for your support, legend. Says, yeah, it would be bearish because there's no data, which is actually a very fair point to be aware of. So, another commenter coming in, Imran Greeny, curious about your thoughts of white whale and penguin. You know what? Let's look at some meme coin charts, Craig. Let's get off the headlines, because the next headline I'm going to talk shit about anyway. So we'll come back to that. Penguin. So if we have a look here, obviously this was the runner last week. I remember people when I bought Testicle, there was people commenting penguin, and I was like, I ignored it because I've been so busy doing other IRL things. I'm annoyed because I think they were commenting way back here, like around a few days ago. So I probably still could have made like a 5x trade if I had just this is why you need to, as many people hate comments on Twitter, commenters are early to other bags because they don't have a following. They're not an influencer. They're not pumping their bags. They are pumping their bags. They're bull posting their bags, but they're commenting to get exposure on that specific meme coin, right? And I saw Penguin ages ago in my comments, and then I was like, oh no. Then I had a look. I was like, oh, it's 130 million. I was like, well, I'm late now. I'm not going to be buying this at 130 million. Craig, I got into a bit of a spit spat with a few people on Twitter over the weekend, mainly because an art chick had a bit of a rage bait, and I quote tweeted her. Basically, the thought was a penguin meme that is a bit outdated. But a penguin meme, right? Because of the whole Greenland situation with Trump trying to acquire it. How organically, okay. What am I trying to say is organic memes are always going to be more just higher upside parabolia compared to a forced meme coin. Now, I'm not calling Pengu a forced meme coin. I would argue Pengu or Pingu or whatever you want to call it is a character that I remember seeing on the TV, that black penguin. And it was a ABC show, whatever it was, back in the day, right? So that was always my Pengu sort of thought. Everyone's like, oh, it's different, it's blah blah blah. It's you Google it. If I Google it, it still shows up as the main or one of the main things beside the obviously Pengu Pudgy Penguins token. But if you look at something like this is why I love memes, and this is why you should always pay attention to memes, because this isn't an organic runner, right? This is something that went viral. This is something that makes a lot of sense. And it reminds me of Peanut. It reminds me of Moondang. It reminds me early Pepe. It reminds me of early Mog. It reminds me of so many tokens, even Dogecoin, right? You have these runners, right? And everyone's like, oh, the liquidity is less than Pengu. Oh, it's going to go to zero quicker than Pengu is. But probably. But that doesn't mean it's not an organic meme. That is a great opportunity to make money. Don't forget to be adaptable. Step away, learn to trade markets, learn to trade opportunities. Don't be just so focused on what you think is just bullish, okay? There's 7 billion people out there, right? So these are just lessons that I've learned by trading meme coins for a long period of time. So for me, if I did see this way back here, I probably would have bought it. I obviously haven't bought it now. We can talk about Testicle too, because it's struggling, and I'm actually out of it. I did de-risk over the weekend, mainly because Bitcoin was just so bearish. But if we have a look here, it is in a corrective wave. Okay, we're having a look. When did you see this, Craig? Did you see or hear about this lower or not?
Yeah, I did. I don't know how low I heard about it, but it was definitely a good 3 or 5x off the top. It's sort of lessons there as well. White whale and penguin. It's interesting to me that this stage of the market, it's just like they can not that they can only be there, but there seems to be just one market runner per week, really.
Yeah, and they do struggle to maintain beside each other.
Yeah, so you almost, I don't know if it's, maybe it is a lesson to me that on these, like you said, these organic parabolic runners, you're not late if you sit at 20 million at the moment.
No.
And if it's organic like these were, and there were still people sidelined like us, that's a good thing
That is a
as
good
well. That is a good thing. And it just makes, it's almost lessons in the way that you should really just bid the main thing and not, at the moment, maybe not branch out too much.
Yeah.
The rest is messy, right? Without white whale and penguin, there hasn't been a lot of like great runners had that. And these have been fantastic. But no, it's annoying. I missed both, to be honest. That is frustrating. And I should have just gone with it. I should have just gone with it.
Clockwork down here, Craig. I'm so annoyed I wasn't keeping an eye on this. I think this, again, so it was about a week ago. It was over a weekend when it was down here, and I was, again, I'm trying to build big GTG out. I'm also trying to buy a house, so I miss opportunities like this where I'm normally plugged in, right? So it's a shame because, yeah, like this is textbook. Come straight into the 88786 region, find support, set a higher low, break out, see a little bit of a volume spike, corrective wave, set a higher low again from this low, and bang, you're off to the races. Again, this is swing trade. Not even if you, like, say you get in at the 786 or a little bit below, right? That is nearly a 2x trade just from there to there. Like, it's a 2.2x trade. Like, that is how I made so much money in 2024. I just haven't seen this happen for a long time, Mike. I mean, like, another one just to talk through why, like, I've been bearish. Again, this is why you need to focus on newer tokens, right? Because something like this, which was so viral whenever this was, August last year, struggling to show you any support around these levels or show you any interest, right? It's crazy to see like something like Troll get into these levels and not do my normal trade setup where there's invalidation, very simple buy. And like you saw volume come in here, but it was after a dump, right? And setting new lows. So it further confirms the point. You need to focus on the new runners because their attention, their volume. And as soon as these start to lose a bit of sentiment, right, then naturally we move on to the next opportunity. So yeah, don't ever. Yeah, I top blasted white whale. I got in at 19 mil, I think it was, way back here, whenever it was here. I sold into this move here. I sold into this this first move here. It was a 3x. I was like, I think I only had like 3 sol in the trade because I only had I have no money on chain. Like that's the other thing too. No money on chain to buy. And so I made it like, yeah, I made like 10 sols, like sick, 3x, dope. It then corrected and then went crazy, which is fine. Like GG's. This is the one I'm annoyed about because that is textbook greenie right there, right? Come into here, find a bottom, okay, higher, low, a little bit of volume, and bang, you go higher to the fib. So that hurts me more. So maybe Penguin will do something similar. As you can see, it's probably rejecting from this resistance overhead again on a higher time frame. Might come down, retest the golden pocket once again, and find support here. And then we challenge maybe a greater breakout. You want to make sure your volume comes in as well. Maybe because white whale is starting to run again, as you said, Craig. Maybe only one can really go like with where the market is in terms of liquidity, where the market is in terms of attention. Maybe only one can sort of run at one period of time. This might correct back into this region and bounce from here. If we lose this support, then yeah, it's going to come down into the 36 to 20 mil region. Like the thing you got to remember too. When Peanut and Moondang did run, they didn't really ever give too much of a second pump, right? Because they were so viral. And again, this is an organic meme. So do not forget, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a better meme than Pengu, right? But it's a runner that is organic. That is how it works. And it's a huge upside to trade. But it never really gave us a strong sort of, look, you found a rounding bottom here. It did get a little bit of a pump. Okay, it went up, what, like a 2x, but then it was very much a lower high. So very curious to see how white whale plays out because I think maybe Penguin, because it's very similar to Moondang and Peanut. Sorry, Peanut. I'm doing it on this monitor over there. I think Penguin probably faces the same issue here as what Peanut did, right? Where it was just so viral and then it corrects and then it can never regain that virality. The viral, for fuck's sake.
We know the word.
The viral nature that it previously did have, right? Whereas white whale seems to already be challenging it. It's now, this is the crucial lever. Can I get it back above these highs here? Or is this the move before we do come back down after that? So I'll be keeping an eye on that. Testicle, obviously, the issue, look, I did a bit of a deeper dive. Now, you have Dip Wheeler, who owns a lot of the supply. You also have people like Busy. I bought a lot of the supply. We were chatting to Jamsey and a few other people who were definitely into it. The unfortunate thing here is when you actually go and look at all of this sell pressure, it's wallets that own too much of the supply, right? So like, as much as it's a shame that this looked pretty good over the weekend and it looked like it wanted to challenge higher, these wicks were a huge concern for me. So I de-risked pretty much a break even, maybe a little bit below break even here, because I was like, okay, well, this is another fail breakout. We're consolidating here. If we, like, one way or another, as soon as you start to get to the apex of a trade in this vicinity, we're going to break out either to the upside or you're going to break down to the downside, right? We were heading into the weekend. I saw Bitcoin crash. I was like, holy shit, that's not good. Bitcoin all the way down to 86. I was like, okay, well, memes like this are probably going to suffer, and I de-risked around this sort of region as well. So it's down all the way at 8 million. Maybe not a bad area to keep an eye on it, but it's probably going to go through a bit of a corrective wave now as well. Still a hilarious meme. It's just, does it hold the golden pocket here at 8.8 mil, or do we see back towards this 3 to 5 mil region? And then that's where I start to get interested again for a swing trade after that. So similar to what White Whale did. So there's an update on Testicle. I lost a bit of money on this. I don't know if you still hold, Craig. What are your thoughts on this chart at the moment?
Yeah, so I was the same as you. I was looking for where it was going to break up or down at the apex there. And then I went to bed. I had some lower bids set. So I had bids set at the 618 and was it the 786? 786 didn't tap. So I actually had bids set for lower. So I actually DCA'd lower. So different to you, rather than getting out there, I had bids set, but I didn't have a stop loss set, if you will. So it didn't trigger a sell for me, but it triggered some buys. So I'm down probably about 30% still, I think, on that one. So I'm in rather the camp now of I bought lower in the hope that we get a bounce. I can now get an exit. Same thing as you. The problem, what you just highlighted, is those wicks to the downside at all-time highs was obviously bigger bags. And I was watching the sales, and it was bigger bags that were selling sort of 6K lots. And I was watching those wallets, and I was like, you mother effers, every time this thing breaks out, you're not letting it breathe. So whoever those top wallets are, I don't know how many of them there are. There's a few. I don't know if it's it could be one person, it could be 10 people.
Could be a group,
They just kept forcing it down, and I was like, man, you mother effers. So it's frustrating to see sort of a coin that, it's a story as old as time, almost go, and then it just gets hammered down. I was watching the sales going, you guys, you bastards. And I can see why top wallets do it, because you could swing trade it really well if you had a big supply.
You control, you're a market maker, really. If you own a lot of the supply, you are a market maker. And
I just have to go along for the ride. So I agree. It was frustrating because the timeline was good, the vibes are good, the meme's good, the group chat's good. Everyone's the holders actually going up. The holders, I think, at all-time high now.
Yeah, it's steady. It's steady. It was 10.5 yesterday when I had a look, but it is down a little bit. Yeah.
Just looking on holder scan, I've got 10608. How accurate that is?
So maybe, So similar. This is very similar to what I didn't buy this second round. I was selling in here and selling a little bit there. So a lot of people saw it here and thought, okay, well, hold on, this is consolidated. We're gonna get this breakout. We did, we had a breakout, but the sell pressure from people who were in way lower. I mean, Nigma shared this in GTG at 500K.
Yeah,
so
I think it's a 37X or 39X.
Yeah, so people who are up here at 20 mil, people who are in what's that, 40X?
I'd be selling
it at 20 mil, right? So that it's a different game, right? But that's how trading works, right? So for example, if this isn't my wallet, just to reiterate, it was just one I clicked. The point being here is there's different stages of a meme coin, and if it really does struggle to get through this initial stage here, not initial, this mature stage here, then it isn't going to be your $50 million, $100 million runner. It's going to be something that maybe only ever gets to 20 million and then needs to correct a little bit to the downside, right? So I don't think this is over. I think this is definitely something to keep an eye on down here, very similar to White Whale. And then that could be potentially the move where your risk to reward is just so superior down here, Craig. So for me, I'm very curious to see, and I will keep this chart open over the coming days because we could get a really good opportunity.
No, I agree. And I think your strategy of exiting where you did was the right call.
You have to, man. Invalidation is arguably the most important part of crypto. Learn to lose, accept you will lose, but learn how to lose correctly, right? So many people don't know how to lose correctly. Then they lose huge. Again, I hate to bring it up. Our good friend from Abstract round-tripped $500,000 on Abstract meme coins. But if he had invalidations, whether it was volume, whether it was Bitcoin, whether it was stop loss below a certain low, okay, if you have invalidations, you could protect your downside risk so much more compared to trying to make profit. Profit is great, but you don't, like, if you don't protect your downside risk, you have no liquidity to buy any opportunities in the future, right? So I always say it's actually learning to lose and learning to have invalidation and learning to have stop losses and being okay that you will lose money because you're chasing a good opportunity or a good risk trade, right? If you learn to do that, that's how you win in crypto over the long term. And we educate that in GTG. It's like, learn how to lose. Be okay with losing. You are going to lose. No one wins 100% of the time. I think my win rate on Bybit right now is about 70%-ish, around that, right? So I lose 30% of the trades I take, right, in longs and shorts, but I still win 70% of the time, right? So it's all about, yeah, you need to think about how to lose. And that's a crypto, like, we're going into a bear market, in my opinion. So have invalidations. If you're more bullish than me, sick, congrats. I hope you win, but have invalidations. Have invalidations. Whether that's a longer investing time period, Craig, as well. Like, that's an invalidation.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, and that's a big lesson for everyone listening is those invalidation levels and how important they are. I mean, in your case, even if you're bullish on the coin, you don't necessarily have to be non-bullish to have exited where you did, because now you can buy it for 30% cheaper if you really are bullish on the coin, right? So invalidation levels, you sold. Now you can wait for the 786 or 886 to hit. If it goes that low, you can enter with the same amount of money. If there is a bounce, you will make some profit. You didn't have to ride the emotions on the way down. That's, to me, was the perfect trade you took. It was the only trade. And the charts prove you correct now. So you can't really argue at all.
No, exactly. Moving on to more bearishness, but bullishness for the industry. So VanEck launches an abstract spot ETF, the Avalanche spot ETF trading under the ticker VAVX is set to begin trading on NASDAQ on January 2026. This is stupid. Why would you launch an ETF on an altcoin now? Why would you launch an ETF on an altcoin that is setting new macro lows every single week? Look at this chart, Craig. Look at this and tell me, yeah, this is a great opportunity to launch an ETF and scam retail out of more money. Good decision by VanEck, but horrible decision from the crypto market, in my opinion. Craig, I'm just calling it how it is. I'm backing this on what price action is evidently showing us since the end of 2023.
Yeah, there's a good comment down there, maybe by Dirt and BTC. ETFs are distribution vehicles, not accumulation triggers. Without organic demand, this is just a fee collection scheme for the issuer.
Exactly.
I probably tend to agree with that, actually, that comment. I think the winner here is probably AVAX themselves, the issuer as well. Creates a bit of news, creates a bit of hype. The need for it, not really. Did price respond?
Not really. It's at $11.
I think a bit of a non-event, maybe bullish in the wider crypto sphere or crypto space, but yeah, shucks, man, this one just never took off, did it? This is one of those stories for my bull run this time. This is one of the ones that let me down.
Well, it did. Like, we bought it way back here, probably similar prices, $8 to $11. I remember buying it in the 2023 around this sort of vicinity here, and it did. It ran to 56, but its all-time high is like 130, so it got nowhere close. And I noticed I think I held initially this rejection because I was like, bull market. We got time's on our side. This is 24 when BTC Consolidate came in here. It was this rejection that I did not like. The second one with a lower high in the bull market. This is when altcoins were going all-time high, Memecoins were going all-time high, so Solana's at all-time highs, BTC was pushing up towards 100K, and AVAX struggled to break out against its high time frame resistance, this white line, and struggled to break out against its previous high here, setting in a lower high. I was like, holy shit, that is not good. There's a lot of FUD out there, not many people using the chain. Whales from way back in the day selling. I saw a lot of FUD. I was like, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this. Sell, and I got out. So look, it's a shame. I think this is a really good chain. If you look fundamentally, they have a lot of building and integration on games and whatnot, but it really, this is an example of a token that did really well in 21, but has really let a lot of people down in 2025, 2024 cycle. And the longer you let people down, the more people are going to rotate to something new. And the more innovation starts to occur in our industry and puts even more fundamental pressure on something like AVAX and AVAX chain, because something new comes out that's faster or easy to use or easy to build on or cheaper to build on or easy to integrate, whatever it is, That's the fundamental concern now is you had a chance to really integrate gaming or really integrate whatever it is, like the test nets, all that sort of stuff. But we haven't really seen that come to fruition. That is a considerable concern for me moving into the future for something like this token.
Yeah, I agree. I did notice, it just made me think, talking about gaming tokens, I saw you put up a tweet saying privacy coins pumped, and then did gaming coins start to pump?
Yeah, Axie Infinity went pretty crazy.
Yeah, I saw Axie pumping last week. What was the tweet you put up? Was that?
Yeah, let me find it. Yeah,
was there similarities to 21? Is there?
So if you look in 2021, privacy tokens did pretty. Where is it? Tyler. Quote tweeted Tyler for it. Where is it? Scroll back. I think I did it a few days ago, so I just got to find it. Sorry, guys. Oh, geez. I'm scrolling. Okay. I'm going to have to just search it. Anyways, it was basically the theme is if you look back in 2021, privacy pumped and then gaming pumped, and that was the end of the cycle. Very similar to what we maybe see and observe currently is we did see a bit of Axie Infinity pump, which is pretty crazy. So, so are we repeating that as well? You're getting, look at the map. Like, we'll pull up the XMR chart too. My Twitter's really letting me down at the moment. If we have a look, Tyler did it. Axie. If you have a look at the monthly as well on. Okay, finally found the tweet. It's bloody hard to find this one. If you have a look at the monthly chart of Monero, huge blow off top. We'll pull it up shortly. If you have a look at the monthly chart of Zcash, huge bearishness wick as well. Often a sign that, yep, sellers are out, market's reversing, change, blow off top, time to correct, right? So if we have a look here, Axie Infinity was up 150% in just the past week. Very random, right? Usually, yeah, see, Game 5 season. This is what I mean. Seed 5 coming in here saying Game 5 season. If you look at the concerning thing about this is that it's eerily similar to 2021. Privacy had a huge pump, then gaming did, and then we entered a bear market. Again, like as an analyst, as I like to call myself, you got to look for similarities and patterns and price, and that's like that's how you win in crypto, right? That's how you win. You identify patterns early before other people can, right? So if we have a look, like privacy, like look at this chart, Craig. That is a blow off top if I've ever seen it. Yeah. On Zcash here on the that's a 6 month chart. Let me get the monthly. But here's the monthly. Huge blow off top, right? Let's look at XMR. Huge, like wow. that is more bearish. That is more bearish, right? So, wow. And if you look at back in 2021, look at this, April 22, the bear cycle was already taking part. Look at this big wick here, right? So, I mean, if we look at Axie, what would have had it last cycle? Surely Coinbase had it last cycle. Like, look at this. When did it pump? Like, end of 21. Okay, huge blow off top. Okay, Doji candle, bang. So, like, again, like, are we seeing similar patterns of where privacy and gaming tokens pump randomly? And that's a sign that everyone's trying to get the last out of this little market before we do correct lower into 2026.
Yeah, I think possibly. Are you buying gaming coins, Greeny?
Hell no, bro. I'm a smart. I know what I'm doing. I'm not buying that trash.
You don't want to get into Power Protocol or Hamster Combat. Looks like a buy. It's up 20% over 7 days.
Take me back to 21 when I was watching Alex Becker videos, watching him pump his own bags by having notifications on and watching the YouTube video within 2 minutes of it being launched, getting into those bags on BNB Smart Chain using Pancake Swap. This is what I mean. Like, take me back to 21 where it was just. He was manipulated. He's tried all cycle to do the same thing, but he can't because the market has matured and the industry has matured and people know that he's an idiot, a scammer. Anyways, he's an inside bag pumper. But yeah, so I don't know. There's look, gaming's always going to struggle to probably succeed as a crypto asset, right? Like, what's the incentive to hold it? Unlike Roblox, which have their in-game currency, same as V-Bucks in Fortnite, right? That's the appeal of a gaming token, but that puts pressure on the token to actually ever really sustain value because it only works in-house for that game, rather than maybe the company needs to have a stock, Craig. Maybe the company needs to come out and say, well, yeah, okay, let's just use the Illuvium for an example. Illuvium token,
Mhm.
if it's being used inside the game, okay, you're going to use that to transact, to buy assets, to I don't know, to bid on something, whatever it is, right? But the token could, I mean, the company could go public, and maybe they that's how you actually get exposure to the company, right? It's an interesting move for gaming, and I don't know. Like, do you think gaming has? I think gaming has a future with blockchain technology. I think it definitely does. I just don't know how we can make money in it. That's the query. NFTs make a lot of sense as assets, blah blah blah. But again, how are you going to make money where it's not diluted? It's probably the main sort of takeaway there.
Yeah, I think for gamers, as far as tokens go, it makes a lot more sense for like the skins to be NFTs and traded on a marketplace like that, but not really a coin required, is it? Like
No.
an in-game token, why does an in-game token need to appreciate in price? Where it could just be dollar backed, where you buy X amount of Robux for X amount of US dollars. It's a set amount. It doesn't fluctuate. It's not like one day when my son goes, "Can I get $10 of Robux?" I get half of what I got yesterday. It's the same amount. So gamers, I think what's been more beneficial for gamers is the ability to trade the in-game assets that they earn, but not necessarily a token. Yes, maybe they could trade an in-game token that then allows to go into fiat. I don't know. But like what you just, is there a need for a game? B, if it is needed as a currency, why does that need to fluctuate in price? It could just be pegged to $1 and just not fluctuate, so players don't get hurt, sellers don't get hurt, and prices appreciate, but the actual currency that backs it doesn't fluctuate like a Bitcoin or a Ethereum with the NFTs we've got. Whereas one of the risks with the Ethereum-based NFTs is that maybe the NFT holds its ETH price, but the ETH price goes down by half. So, yeah, dude, what's this? Fix it. So what you're saying, I guess it would just be a raise for the company. More than it benefits the company probably to have a token, but not really
similar to what the ETF is. Similar to what the ETF is, a distribution of exit liquidity, right? So yeah, really interesting. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. We've got FFV on the show tomorrow. So he's a large influencer on Twitter. Highly recommend you guys go follow him. He also runs his own podcast. So he will be easy to talk to. Will be someone that we can easily chat to about all things markets, NFTs, AI, algo. He's someone who really understands the algo as well in terms of creating good content and relevant content and really viral based content. So it'll be really good to have him on tomorrow. So great show today, Craig. Good to be back this week. Guys, thanks for hanging with us. Have a lovely Tuesday if you're in Australia. Have a lovely Monday evening if you're over the other side of the world. And yeah, Craig, we'll see everyone tomorrow. Massive shout out to OKX as well.
Yeah, shout out to everyone for tuning in. Thank you very much, and good luck, Greeny, on the house buying today, brother. Hopefully, you get some good news, dude. I know you're.
I'll be on the call. I'll be on the call in the next 5 minutes, so I'm already stressed. So
I'm stressed for you, man. I'm stressed for you. Hopefully, look, whatever happens, man, you can't fight fate. That's my advice. So exactly. you just got to roll with the punches. But I can only imagine. So hopefully, you and your wife get a good outcome here, and we can celebrate tomorrow with you.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. As always, chat. Thanks for tuning in. And check out GTG if you want to come and chat with Craig and I as well every single day.